Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on November the 28th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we will start off by taking a look at our calendar here. All right, so in terms of our news here, there were some positive numbers for US in the morning, but then the PMI numbers came in negative, and overall we saw that the US dollar suffered a bit because of the negative numbers. Another thing that we have seen today is also news in regards to British pound. So there were polls, so we talked about this yesterday as well. When the polls come out, because we are getting close to the election in UK, as we get close to that date, there will be more and more these polls as to who is going to win the election. And today we saw polls come out, for example, here that said that conservatives are on target to win big majority, and that is positive for British pound. So there were polls earlier as well that suggested, here we go, that that suggested that conservatives are going to win, and that pushed the British pound up. So we saw this big rally in British pound. And also, like I've mentioned before, this is a short week because of the Thanksgiving holiday in the US. So on Thursday is Thanksgiving, so tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and as a result of that, a lot of people are away, a lot of traders are away from their desks, so liquidity tends to be thin around holidays. So this is what we are seeing this week. Low liquidity conditions combined with a lot of these news makes up for crazy moves, and that's what we have seen in British pound. In terms of the news here coming up on Thursday, we have CPI month over month. This is the inflation data from the Eurozone. Otherwise, we have Canadian data coming out, current account numbers. These are important right now because of the trade concerns around the world. So these numbers will have an impact on Canadian dollar. Other than that, we see that there isn't a ton of data. We do have CPI, core CPI numbers from Japan. Now, these are likely to make an impact on Japanese yen. Another thing that just came out actually not too long ago is that Trump has signed the Hong Kong bill. So this bill got passed from both in the Congress essentially, and as a result of that, there were comments from China saying that if President Trump signs, so basically they were saying that President Trump should not sign this bill. U.S. should not interfere in what's considered, what China considers an internal affair. And those comments had actually caused Japanese yen crosses to drop because that's negative for the US-China trade agreements. So now that bill has been signed now. So we'll see what China has to say about that. So if China comes and expresses negative opinion on that or takes an offense to that, that would mean that the phase one trade deal, US and China trade deal, is likely to get delayed, or it could even, it may not go through. So at this point, there are some tariffs that are supposed to go in on December 15th. So basically, what I'm trying to say is expect volatility and keep an eye on the comments coming out of China in regards to the US and China trade agreement, or in regards to the Hong Kong bill that President Trump signed. And any negative comments will have negative impact on the yen crosses and the equity indices or equity markets overall. So all the safe haven currencies and safe haven assets will do well if there are negative comments. But if we hear comments that they're not happy about it. However, they are continuing on with the talks. That would be positive. So right now, basically, we are looking for volatility both from the British pound perspective, for UK elections, as well as for yen crosses. So it's turning out to be quite an interesting week. Let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off as usual with our euro dollar. So yesterday we were looking for a drop. We had talked about how if price stays below 1030, 1.1030 is likely to drop. So we got that drop now, and bias is bearish here today because of that. Now we are into very close to the support, so we just have to be mindful of that. So here for euro dollar, here bias is still bearish. I will look for a pullback into 1.1020 potentially, and then if it stays below, I'm looking for that drop. So basically looking for a further move to the downside. But if British pound keeps going up, euro could follow that as well. So keep an eye on development. So first target is 1.0980, which is very close. Second target is 1.0960 to the downside here. So bearish bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this is the one that turned around completely here. It's still trading in this range. So yesterday I was looking for a drop. We got that drop, but it pulled back quite rapidly off of that. Didn't quite come into all the way into support, just pulled off all the way. And actually when the poll results came out at the close of New York session, just after, it just pushed up quite a bit. So right now we do have a bullish candle close for the day, which means this one could go higher here. So bias is bullish. But I would be careful. Right now, there's a lot of volatility in the market, and as a result, we could see things kind of get whacked around a bit. So just be careful with that, especially this week, as it is low liquidity week, and tomorrow there will be tomorrow's a holiday in the US, so we're likely to have most traders will be away. So things can get crazy during low liquidity times. So this is what I'm looking for, basically. Price, today's candle close is bullish, and we could see price go into 1.2980, and then I will look for a move back into the range here. Now, if for some reason price breaks through that, we could see it go into 1.3020, and if it goes beyond that, then it could really shoot up, because this bullish flag here has been in process for quite some time. It hasn't really broken to either side, and at this point it could really go in whichever direction here. So if positive comments around the polls of conservatives winning the elections keep coming out, pound could really take off. So just be careful with the British pound here. Like we saw today, the moves here were quite thin, so prices just moved up. So expect volatility. All right, Aussie dollar here, this one is bearish. We had a bearish candle close today, so looking for it to drop further here. Bias is to the downside. So if we see further, if we see comments out of China that are considered negative, we're likely to see Aussie drop as well. So bias here is bearish. We do have a bearish candle close. Price is holding below this previous support resistance level. So looking for price to drop. 0.6740 is the first target. And if price goes through that, we're looking at 0.6720 as the second target. So bias here is bearish. New Zealand dollar here. This one is trading in a range still, as we can see. Price has gone back and forth here. At this point, it's stuck in a range. So bias is neutral. We really need to see which direction price wants to break out before engaging in this pair. So what I would look for is If we get a move into 0.6440, if it holds below here, then I will look for a move back into the support level here. And if it breaks the support level, then I would look for a follow-through move here to the downside. But for now, bias is neutral for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here couldn't break through the support here, and this one has pushed up a bit as well. Now we are back into that range. This is a neutral candle here. It does have some bullishness in it, but it's not awfully bullish. So neutral bias for dollar CAD as well. Price could go higher, or it could just turn around where it is. If it doesn't break today's high, we're likely to see price turn around. But if it breaks today's high, then I will look for a move all the way into 1.3320. So for now, we just need to wait where price is. This is a good support resistance area. If it goes through, it's going all the way up, because as we can see, price is back into that range now. So for now, neutral bias for dollar CAD. Euro pound here, this one held below our range support here, support resistance level. Our support turned into resistance. Nice bearish candle close at this point. Bias is bearish here. And now looking for price to continue lower. And as we can see, it's coming right into our support. So the target is 0.8480. And once it gets through that, that's a pretty darn strong support there. Once it gets through that, we're looking at 0.8450, but we could see price struggle in this area at 0.8480. So watch out for that. Bias is bearish. Euro Swiss franc, this one is still hanging out here. And like we talked about the other day, this one is flattening, price is compressing. As long as it stays below 1.10, we could see price turn. So it's still forming, and we just need to wait and see if it does this move here. But that's what I'm expecting at the moment. So as long as it stays below, I will look for price to move lower. Today's candle close is very, very small. Neutral bias at the moment is just sitting there and going sideways. So bias is neutral. If it holds below 1.10, I'm looking for a move towards 1.0950. Otherwise, it could go all the way up into 1.1050. So we just need to wait and watch. Neutral bias. Pound Swiss franc here, this one broke out. It broke through the range here and went into our next target here that we had marked. So candle close is bullish, but we are into strong resistance here, so we could see price drop. Now, if it goes through that resistance level, then the next target would be 1.30. But right now it's holding below that resistance. It seems to be reacting to it. So as long as it stays below 1.2930, we could get a drop. But as soon as it crosses that resistance, we're looking at a move higher into 1.30. So for now, bias is bullish for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one has also moved higher here. Now, just keep in mind with all the Swiss franc crosses and all the yen crosses here, we could see some volatility here because of US and China. So if they do not like it, if China does not like it and they comment on it, then we're going to have some problems in the markets tonight in the Asian session or tomorrow. So look out for some turnarounds should China decide to take offense. And that's what we are waiting for. If that happens, then all the Swiss franc crosses are likely to drop in that case. If they just keep quiet and don't say anything, they can go back up. If positive comments come out saying, oh, we are still going to continue on with the talks, that will be positive. And then we are likely to see the Swiss franc crosses go up. So this is where we are at for our Same thing for the yen crosses and Swiss franc crosses. Both Japanese yen as well as Swiss franc are considered safe haven currencies, so they react to geopolitical uncertainties, and this bill creates the uncertainty in the market, especially because now we have a problem with the US and China, and they may not actually agree to signing the they may not agree on the trade agreement. All right, so silver here, looking at commodities, silver is still a range bound here. We had a drop. Now with this one here, with the US and China trade negotiations, those could get hampered again by the Hong Kong bill getting signed by President Trump. So what I would look for here would be if price does not break today's low at 16.90, this is likely to go higher. If China does not make any comments about the bill, then it would be positive for the equities and negative for the safe haven assets, and we are likely to see silver drop in that case towards 16.62 level. However, if they come and condemn the bill, then that would be positive for safe haven assets, and we're likely to see silver go up. So right now, we just need to wait for China's reaction to the Hong Kong bill getting signed, and based on that, either we are looking for price to break today's low, which means then it's going towards 16.60. If it breaks today's high, then, or sorry, if it doesn't, if it holds above today's low, then I would look for a move towards 17.20. Then this is likely to go higher. For now, bias is neutral. Gold here, gold held above, held below this support resistance level that we had talked about yesterday. We had a bearish engulfing candle close here, giving it a bearish bias. However, this week with low liquidity and a lot of traders being off, this can just go sideways. So my bias here is neutral. So same thing, if China doesn't say anything about the Hong Kong bill, then we are likely to see gold drop. But if China comes and is upset about it, that is likely to push gold higher. In that case, I would look for a move towards 1464 and potentially even into 1478. So we need to keep an eye on this. For now, neutral bias. Oil here, oil is still holding below 58.70. We have a neutral candle close. I will look for price to move towards 57.14 here, and if it breaks through that level, I will look for a move lower. But right now it is just range bound at the moment, so neutral candle close today, so looking for it to drop. So bias is neutral, looking for it to drop towards 57.514 and then 56.20. Copper, neutral bias here for copper as well. It went higher, but it wasn't really able to hold there. Today's candle close is neutral indecision candle, so I would look for potentially a move back here into this range, and because of that, bias is neutral, and I'm looking for a range bound move, basically looking for price to come back into the range potentially towards 2.60. Now, if it holds above 2.62, then this one could go further. So it's right into that support resistance level. That's important. So we just need to watch. So this is an important support resistance level. Now that price has gone higher, as long as it stays above, this one could go even higher. So neutral bias for copper as well. But if it crosses 2.62 to the downside, then I will look for a move lower here. Bitcoin here. Bitcoin, bullish candle close today, bullish engulfing candle. It dropped right into almost into the support here. And then we have quite a bullish candle close here. So now I will look for a move higher. This is what I'm looking for, potential pullback into 73.30 level, and then a move higher into 8,000 here. One thing we'll have to keep in mind is that if price does not break today's high, it could still turn, because this is an important support resistance level here as well. So if it starts to hold below 76.80, we could see this range bound move here and see this one drop. So for now, bias is bullish, but with caution. Let's take a look at our equities. Equities have been crazy, bullish here. So we have seen quite a bullish move that was just moving in one singular direction here, up, up, up. Today was quite bullish for the equities. However, with the bill getting signed now, I would be cautious here. Right now, price dropped because of the news of the bill getting signed. Now we are awaiting comments from China and China's reaction. If it's negative, like I mentioned before, then we're looking for a drop towards 3130. And if it goes through that level, I would look for a further drop here into 3115. My bias here is neutral. I'm not bullish on the equities today. For the last few days, it's been bullish, but today I'm neutral. As long as it holds below today's high at 71.54, I'm looking for a drop here. So neutral bias for S&P 500. First target is 3130. Second target, 3115. Nasdaq here, same thing, big bullish move here. And now I am neutral. It is into all-time highs, right into our target at 84.50, into the first target, or close to the target, I should say. But the reaction will be important here, China's reaction. Now we could get a pullback into 83.70 and then a further move. So if it holds above 83.70, we are looking at a further move higher. Now, should China have a negative reaction, then I will look for a drop through 83.70, retest, and we're looking for a move lower. So this one, again, be cautious with this one. My bias is neutral for Nasdaq. And we are looking at Dow Jones here. This one is right into the resistance. Again, I'm looking for a turnaround here. My bias is neutral, waiting for a China reaction here. And I will look for a drop back towards the range, bottom of the range here, if China has a negative reaction. So my bias is neutral, but potentially looking for a drop. First target here will be 27,900, and then second target of 27,600. DAX here, DAX closed right into the top of the range here, still hasn't broken the range. And same thing, if we see a negative reaction from China, I will look for price to drop, and I will look for it to move back into the middle of the range. So the first target here would be 13,150, and if it goes through that, looking for it to move towards the bottom of the range. Now, should China decide to hold their peace and they are quiet, we could see this one go higher towards 13,360 level and potentially even higher. So especially if they say we are still willing to work with the US, that would be positive for all the across the equities, and we could see all equities move higher as a result. FTSE here finally broke through this level here into resistance. Now it is bullish bias here, and next target is 74.60. And let's pretend there's no reaction from China, then this one could go even higher into 7,500. All right, so looking at Nikkei here, Nikkei, it was right into our resistance there. And now we have to see, there was an initial reaction to the comments, but we'll see what China says. And right now, though, this looks like it's range bound. So I will look for a move towards the middle of the range here. Bias is neutral, looking for a move towards 23,250. And if it goes through this, then I'm looking for 22,750. Otherwise, what could happen here is price drops a little bit, even currently where it is, or into here, and then it could do one of these as well. So just be aware of that and keep an eye on how things are going. So that's it for today's analysis. I will be back tomorrow. And for all my friends in the US, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your long weekend, and I will see you back on Sunday. But if you are not in the US and still trading, I'll be here tomorrow with analysis. All right, so that's it for now. I will see you later. Bye for now.